Hey Siri, play What's Coming Out of Your Mouth podcast on Apple Podcasts.
You ready?
Let's go, baby.
All right. I want to welcome you all back to the number one show, hype show in the land. What's coming out of your mouth? I am your host, Untitled Chapter. This is my co-host. All right. Another Tuesday up in this joint. What's up, everybody? I want to welcome you all back to What's Coming Out of Your Mouth, your favorite Tuesday night show. I am your host, Altonia Lachey, along with my co-host.
You already know what it is. It's your boy Pete Fairley.
All right. Y'all go ahead. We're going to get into some good discussion on tonight. So you all go ahead and share the podcast on your pages and in your stories. We have a wonderful guest coming on later. And, we're going to talk some real talk tonight. So, let's get ready to do the thing. Co-host, how's your Tuesday going?
And my Tuesday been jumping as usual. Busy. Really looking forward to the guest coming on tonight. So I'm looking forward to a good show. How your Tuesday been?
My Tuesday been going pretty good. It's been Tuesday. Everybody been excited about it being the 2/22/22. Talking about expecting great things and all that. So I'm kind of into those kind of things. So it's been pretty good, I must say. I really can't complain. I don't know why I'm feeling a little nervous tonight, but I guess if you stop getting nervous about something, then maybe you lose your little thrill for it. What you think?
I don't know about all that. I ain't. But I've heard people say that, but I really don't get nervous.
You don't get nervous?
Not anymore. So I be ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, it's not a nervous like oh my God, but you know what I'm saying. You know what it is.
Bro, yeah, I feel you.
Yeah. Okay. Let me message her and let her know. And so yeah. It's crazy that we're talking about suicide and depression and mental health on tonight when I'm always strolling on social media right before we get on, trying to do a last minute promos. Mm-hmm. And I just saw on the Shade Room that another black beauty pageant. She they are saying that it's accidental. Mm-hmm. That she fell out of Miami hotel window. Let me read it right quick. And now, just a few weeks ago, they had the beauty pageant, Miss USA, that she jumped to her death. And now they're saying that Miss Alabama, Zoe passed away at 27 after falling from a Miami building. Right. Now, I don't know. This kind of seems suspect. What you think?
Hey, I don't know enough about it to talk on.
But I'm just saying it's very coincidental that this is the second beauty pageant person.
Yeah, but when stuff start happening to people, stuff so trending now. Even everything is trending.
So do you feel like she could have been influenced by the previous lady committing suicide that made her want to do the same thing?
I sad to say, yeah, but yes.
Yeah, I thought about that too, but I mean, they just saying she accidentally fell, and that just maybe the wording just seemed kind of suspect to me.
Yeah, they probably did have to put accidentally because accidentally fell and killed herself like that. I don't know, but like I say, stuff gets so trendy nowadays. You know how that is.
Yeah. I know, but I thought that was kind of crazy, Okay, the guest has come in, so let me go ahead and let her in.
I wonder what that noise was. Just pop like that. I wonder what was going on.
Hey, welcome to the show.
How are you? Thank you.
Okay. So, if you want to introduce yourself, and then we'll jump into the topics for tonight.
Okay, well, I am Chelsea Bullock. I wear many hats. Some of you guys may know me as a fashion therapist, but I'm also a mental health therapist. I work in all types of population. I work in the residential population. I work with kids. I work with acute care, meaning that they come inside the hospital for acute care, maybe 7 to 14 days. So I'm all over the place.
Okay. Awesome. So that makes her a perfect candidate to come on tonight and help us discuss. We always talk about mental health stuff, but it's always good to bring in people who have expertise in different areas as well, so you all can get a different perspective other than just ours. So, I guess we can. The main reason why we wanted to kind of talk about depression and suicide tonight is because the recent suicide with the high schooler in Jackson, Mississippi, and we all stem from Jackson, Mississippi, so
Yeah.
it's kind of close to us. And so, did you all have any thoughts on? Did you have any thoughts on that before we just start talking about the signs and different things like that?
Ooh, child, I had a lot of thoughts on that. First of all, as a teacher or any person, you're a mandated reporter.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just say, that right. If you told me right now you were suicide, I'm a mandated reporter.
Right.
I tell my parents up front, if they tell me anything about suicide, I must report it. Don't matter if they playing or not. Some kids do it for attention seeking. They're really not suicidal,
Mm-hmm.
but I still have to report it and treat it like it's suicide, regardless.
So
Um, Go ahead.
So from your understanding, did that not happen? Did the
Oh yeah.
were the teachers knowledgeable that she was considering suicide and no one reported it?
So I mean, there's different stories. I don't have the real story, but from what I've seen from some of the posts and some of the feedback, I feel like I saw that she was trying to tell the teacher, and the teacher did not, you
Take it
know,
serious.
take her seriously. But
Oh my goodness!
that was the number one step. We should have not even ignored that.
Right.
Um, so off top, I felt like that was, a no.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I
Yeah,
definitely
yeah.
agree.
I heard that as well. I heard that as well. That she was giving signs. She was trying to tell the teacher. A lot of students reported this, saying that she was trying to tell the teacher trying to back out of course. But that just goes back to being so untuned as educators. They're not taking the job as serious as they should be.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So, but with kids, there's so much going on. You got to take
Yes.
everything serious.
I would say one thing that I would recommend. I'm not sure if they're doing it in schools or not, like annual training on mental health.
Hmm.
Um,
Yes, I'm
let's take
sure they're
again.
very out of
Yeah.
touch.
So that's something that we should automatically be doing as teacher. With a teacher should automatically have know the signs, symptoms, or just a little background about that. Because they work so closely with the kids.
Right.
So
Right. The kids with
I ask
them more
both
than
of you
they at
guys
home.
this. I ask both of you guys this. Do you think it's just more in our community, or as us as a people as a whole, that we're just behind on this mental health awareness thing?
Hmm. I say a little both. One thing I say about African Americans, they are scared of mental health.
Yes.
That's one thing. And then when you're talking to a lot of African Americans about mental health, oh, they're just crazy. There's not a real thing, but it's really a big thing, especially for the African American population. And I
Mm-hmm.
think a lot of people are scared of it because they think that, okay, the label of it. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like everybody on this earth has some type of mental health. They don't know it. We'd all be through some type of trauma, but then
Right.
you need some mental health services, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think that we kind of make it as like less of a taboo and something that's necessary, then I think it would be different.
Mm-hmm. I definitely echo that, but I think it's across the board. I think we are the African American culture, as with everything mostly, are last. We're at the bottom to finally say, okay, now we want to start therapists. Finally, okay, and all that. But I think across the board, they are not. Because kids we are not taking kids as serious as like people with true feelings and emotions. So we're so quick to dismiss them because like, well, what you got to be depressed about? What you got to be upset about? You got everything. You don't have to worry about going to work. You know what I'm saying? We make excuses, but not looking at them as an individual who are experiencing real life things. And so I think it's really across the board. But of course, we are, you know, the last ones in every
Right.
race.
But
And
honestly, as adults, we still are fighting childhood trauma.
Mm.
absolutely.
Childhood trauma is real. You know, a lot of our relationships with different people is because of what has happened to us early on because we
Mm-hmm.
never addressed it as kids, and now we are dealing with it as adults. So
Absolutely.
I feel like an adult should understand, like, okay, you went through certain stuff in school, you probably was bullied in school. Your child or whoever is probably going through the same thing, so it's real.
Right. Absolutely.
But what
Absolutely.
what what I don't understand and what I don't like is if people experience these things, like why they anticipate up more, once you come out of it. You understand what I'm saying? Or are you not trying to equip your child with more knowledge on this, or just being in tune to know that these things, because anything gets higher and higher as time go on. You understand what I'm saying? So why does parents don't do these things? Why do parents not do these things?
It's a lot of answers I can give you. Sometimes parents have their own mental health issues. I have seen
Mm-hmm.
that across the board. I work with a population where it's the parents. I'm just being
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
honest.
A lot of
It's
it is the parents.
it's the parents, and when you're an adult, it's hard to uh teach adults things because they're more like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, I'm grown, I got this, but they never have the optimistic mindset of, okay, I can learn something new. Um, and sometimes parents don't want to deal with their own selves. They don't want to deal with the fact of
Yep.
what's going on, so they cover it up. Let's say that. But I have noticed a trend where things get bad. That's when they want help. Like we all about prevention over here. With child abuse,
Right.
they wait until it gets really escalated to ask for some help.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that too. I mean, I work with the IDD population
Mm,
currently, and you know, we say it
How did you
jokingly.
speak in layman?
That's the intellectual disabilities. So
Okay.
it's a lot of people who probably have like Down syndrome, or some of it's coupled with mental retardation, which that's not a appropriate term anymore.
yeah.
But for a layman's terms, that's what you would say.
Mm-hmm.
But and we joke a lot, just amongst us, that a lot of the parents should be our clients as well. And
Mm.
so she is absolutely correct. A lot of
Hmm.
it is the parents, so they don't have the wherewithal to really understand the child's needs because they have some of the similar needs. And also, like she said, there are a lot of parents are in denial.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
And so that's what I think our focus needs to be, is to say, okay, parents, it's not your fault that your child is going through this. You know, help people process it that's in denial, and also help the parents who need some services as well. Because you are absolutely right. If we're not dealing with our own trauma, like we talked about a few weeks back, some people forget how the trauma affected them. So when it comes to their kids, they just think they dismiss it.
And then one other thing I wanted to mention, like sometimes it's not just about the trauma; it's about the parents letting other people come in and help.
That,
Um,
yeah.
they don't want people in their business, and it ain't always about your business. About bettering you, you know. That's a big thing. Like, and a lot of parents, when I ask them what the support looks like for them, a lot of them think financially. Support is not just financially. Like, there's a lot of ways to be support. You know,
Hmm.
just having someone to come in to check in, help you out. You know, take your kids to school or something. That's support.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah, and especially for single parent. I mean, a
Mhm.
two parent family is tired and wore out. So imagine parents who are single
Single
moms and
parent.
they going through
Yeah.
all that. Man, I'm telling you, I'm tired and I got help. So imagine.
Right.
So, okay, so with this being said, I guess I'm gonna take a few comments that's coming in. Let me take this before we start talking about some of the signs, in case y'all want to expound on it. Someone says, no, they do not have that in the school system. I've been begging for mental health training in the school. They only have school counselors, not therapists, and she says it's hurtful. It's across the board. We're dealing with childhood trauma, and if we didn't hear from it, we definitely don't have the tools to help our children. So we teach them that it's a norm. I meant to say that when we was talking about that why aren't we say it's across the board and the school system is lacking, but don't you feel like I wonder why mental health is at the bottom of the barrel? You know what I'm saying? As far as being in the school systems and all that, and really even working in the mental health field, is not a lot of money in the field for people to properly get the resource that they need.
I know for me, I go into the school sometimes. I work community based, my full time job. They don't like to let mental health providers in. Some of them have their own specific mental health provider that they would like in, but
Mm-hmm.
sometimes those mental health providers don't do the same thing with what other mental health providers do because there's different types of mental health providers. Like you
Mm.
have us, I work for Youth Villages, and we have intensive in home where we go to the school, we go to the home wherever the parents are. We could go basically maneuver around.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and some of them are not really just open for that. And that's something I feel like we might have to take to like the school board or something,
Yeah.
about this situation. But yeah, it's just different states and different areas do different things.
Mm. Yeah, we need to try to find a way to advocate for that because this it's growing. I mean, like suicide rates have always been high, but it's I feel like the rates are growing because social media for one thing, and
And
children are
COVID.
just COVID. Yes,
Mhm.
children are exposed to so much. But I said that several times that we're going to see mental health rates skyrocket within the next few years just from COVID. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause we're social beings, and so many changes happen as a direct result of COVID. So yeah, I definitely agree.
Yeah. And we don't really have a big number of mental health therapists. It's a high turnover rate. Um,
Yeah, cause burnout.
it's a burnout. It's a real burnout. You need a lot more, and it's not for the weak. I tell you, it's not.
Definitely not. Definitely not. Okay, so how would someone know, you know, that someone close to them was depressed? Because, I think I'm not going to take away from somebody's experience or, their self diagnosis. But a lot of people throw the term depressed around kind of fluently.
Loosely. I think it's
Yeah,
loosely used. I do.
yeah. But so how would you know that someone close to you is really depressed? If you could offer some
If you're really
insight
close
on
to
that.
that person, a lot of times you'll know based on their body language, based on their activity, the things they were doing and not want to do anymore.
Mm.
It sometimes it could be the smallest things. You have if this person call you all the time, they haven't called in a while, something must be going on. And then not people that's let's say this people that's suicidal, they don't really say, "Oh, I'm suicidal." If that
Right,
makes sense.
right.
You
That's
have to
true.
catch the signs.
So,
Um,
so does depression equate to suicide?
yes, it can. It
Mm-hmm.
can. It can. It highly can because people feeling hopeless. Once you in that, once you in that state of hopelessness, it sometimes it's hard for people to come back out. Like
Right.
you stuck. Like it's like you a stuck thing, and it takes so much to come back.
So your telltale sign would be one thing you would like to reach to. What is your telltale sign of depression?
Mine would be when someone lost pleasure. And if someone came to me and said they just want to give up, they don't have
Mm-hmm.
to say the word depressed, but they saying things like they want to give up. I just can't take it anymore. I'm tired. I asked them.
Mm.
I said, "So what does tired look like?" Well, I go in detail. Like I have to ask specific questions because I don't
Right.
just want to cut them loose. Okay, we got all tired, but sometimes people stuff look different from ours.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. So would
That's
you act like you tired of what?
hmm So
Something
I'm
like
like, well,
that.
I saw this is my thing. I always say, what's going on? What does tired look like? Okay, so what happened
Mm.
today? I try to get more details, and I try to get like a timeline of events. Okay, so that
Mm-hmm.
happened today. What happened on yesterday? It's all about getting details, and I think that's one thing we miss because we not big communicators. A lot of people have communication issues.
yes.
Um, you have to be specific about how you ask certain stuff.
Mm. That's good. So another question I was gonna say, well, what is your response? Because like, okay, if you talking to your family member, your best friend, or somebody, and they saying, well, girl, I'm really like, if they said, I'm tired, I don't know how to do it, like everything is going wrong, I just can't find my way. We inclined to say, oh, girl, it's gonna be all right. We gotta just pray about it.
Yeah.
Me, girl, I go all the way in. It's just a dark moment. Blah 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 blah. But what would be a good response?
Hmm.
Because if they just telling you and you get them the wrong response, that could kind of push them over the edge.
Well, I do. I so this. So with my friends do this to me all the time. But when they tell me they tired of the press, I ask them, "So what do you want to do different? Like, what
Mm,
can make you have a better day?" Because then they get to thinking like, "Oh, it ain't as bad." It's like, okay, well they talking it out to me, because
right,
I'm a listening ear. But I was like, "So what? What can I do? What can somebody else do to make you, to help you out, you know, what can this person do better?" I just kind of reflected, kind of let them process on how what they can do better, and a lot of times it helps. It helps.
Mm.
yeah. I think that's good too,
Hmm.
and that's why I say that they use it so loosely. Like, are you really depressed, or are you just really having a moment that you need to pivot and do
Hmm.
something differently? But in this moment, you can just see just a dark cloud, and you don't know how to pivot. You don't know what to do different in order to turn things around. So I had someone saying that a lot of times when you tell somebody that you're depressed, they just say that, okay, oh, you'll be okay, and because it don't have a look,
Doesn't
it,
it does not have a look, and a lot of people are, again, that goes, a lot of people not equipped to mental health. A lot of people not educated on depression, or
mm-hmm,
what's the next steps keep falling into depression. People might be a little sad right now, but there's levels to it, like you can slowly drill,
Mm.
mm-hmm,
right before their eyes, people like, oh, I didn't know that happened to so and so, but she was kind of giving you the signs. We just really wasn't, acknowledging the signs.
right, right. So at what point would, if you talk to the person and
Hmm.
you asked him, okay, like you were saying, like what you want to do, what does tired look like to you, and everything they're saying is pointing to, well, they may be really, on the
On the
brink of,
edge.
yeah, on the brink of doing something. What would be the next step?
I would call support. If I knew this person personally, I would call their person and be like, okay, can you go check in on so and so? Just do, drive by and see if they, what they like at home. We ain't got to say what we talked about. Just do a little observation, see
Right.
how they move, what they, mental health like when you talking to them. Things like that, to see if we
Mm-hmm.
need to go to the next step. And the next step instantly would be, if we feel like somebody really suicidal, call 911. If you feel like you're not a predicament and this person's like out of bizarre behavior that you're not used to, and if you see, I always tell people to look for sharps. If they see some sharps out, they see, something that you wouldn't usually see, go ahead and call.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
You better be safe than sorry.
Yeah, that's good.
So
And you,
so in those situations, a lot of times we just have to do what we think is best for the person and not
Mm.
worry about their response or whatever it's gonna be. Right?
It depends. It depends, situation by situation. I can't say, who to do what with, but
Hmm.
you have to know that person. Everybody, situation looks different.
Right,
right.
right.
Yeah, that's good. Every time I get ready to ask my question, they keep leaving me. um, what did I want to say? Oh, so usually they say that suicide, a man is more likely to commit suicide than a woman.
Mm.
Mm.
And so now or recently, it's been a lot of females committing suicide. Do you think that statistic has really changed, or do you just feel like what do you think about that?
I think some truth to that. Men use more of a lethal way. Women use more like of pills, overdose,
Okay.
poison type of way, a slow way.
Mhm.
Um, I definitely see, our men, no shade, but they're our number one people that don't like to express emotion. They feel like, okay, I don't have emotions, I don't want to deal with emotions. But us women, we notice it, we see it, we
Mhm.
see the signs, but it's all about how to approach them sometimes.
Mhm.
You know, and I think one thing I have noticed with men, you can't approach them if they got emotions. You have to kind of like, okay, so do things like show action more of saying things, if that makes sense.
Mm.
Um, but
Mm.
yes, I definitely agree though that men and women are doing it more too, because we got a lot of single parents.
Yeah.
We got a lot of single
Mm.
parents,
And
and
parenting
they,
is stressful.
yeah, and people don't really realize everybody ain't single parent ain't for everybody. Let's just say that.
Everybody ain't
Yeah.
equipped.
And yeah,
Right.
everybody is equipped for it. Everybody, and there's no instruction, no manual how to be a parent. And you got
Right.
to know what kind of kids they got. They might not be equipped for their own kids.
True.
Now you saying something right there, sister.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
mean, we talk about that all the time. Now you want to sit up here and have all these children, but it's taxing being a parent, and
Hmm.
so you got to know where your mental abilities are before you take on all these kids or stop having them. How you want to put it. So yeah, that's real. That's definitely real.
So far we got that we need to recognize when the person is just not themselves, right?
Hmm.
They're doing something different. They're not responding the same. That if they normally calling you all the time and they don't call you, it's a possibility they could be depressed, right?
Could be, yeah.
When we feel that they're depressed, do you think is it okay to say, well, let's go get dinner or anything of that nature? Is that okay, or do
Definitely okay.
you? Hmm.
Definitely okay. Because some people might not say, they just really want company and don't know how to say it.
Mm.
Make those suggestions. Say, hey, I'm gonna just come over and then we could just, chit chat, whatever, chop it up or whatever they want to do.
Hmm.
I always would make this suggestion. My friends are good about that. They'll call everybody because I'm the one that call everybody.
Right.
I
Mhm.
call people. So if they ain't heard from me in 2 3 days, they call it too.
Okay.
A lot of times I just be busy, but at least they know that I ain't called.
Well, that's good that your circle is aware of that,
Hmm.
because a lot of times we just say, well, maybe they have an off day, and before you think to call them 2 or 3 days and pass by, and now you saying, ooh, I ain't heard from Chelsea, let me try to call her, but then something have occurred, and that's why I think one reason we need to have more of these conversations, because we need to be in tune with the schedule or the patterns of our friends, especially our strong friends. Like me, I'm not one to, if I'm going through something, you ain't gonna know. I'm gonna be on here, I'm
Yeah.
gonna be doing my thing. I'm like, okay, because we look at Facebook and we say, okay, they posted today, and this and they normal little post things, and
But
then
just
all of a
be
sudden,
smiling on Facebook. Don't it be really be depressed? I would
right.
put some good pictures if I was depressed, and that people wouldn't even know.
Right, I'm saying. So I really think that being in tune with the people in your circle is very, very important at
Mhm.
this time. You know what I'm saying? And even if they smiling, just to say, hey, whatever, how's your day going, or how's your mental health? I think we need to get in the practice of saying that,
Yes,
because
yes, yes.
especially, we call from, okay, girl, let me tell you, I don't know what the men say to their friend guys when they get ready to do their little chit chat. But you know what I'm
Yes.
saying? We need to say, okay, how's your mental health today? Can you handle what I'm gonna dump on you? Because you don't even know what they're dealing with just because there's a person that you can use call and dump. But you might need to start checking on to see where their head is at before you
Mhm.
start letting off your stuff.
And not only that, I would say in your friend circle, start talking about mental health more. Make it a real thing. Um,
Yes.
you know, it needs to be a real thing. I don't care what type of friendship it is, y'all need to talk about mental health. You know,
Yes.
things happen at
Yes.
work. We don't talk about with our spouse or our friends or our family members, but somebody you need to have an outlet somewhere.
Right. I definitely agree on that. I definitely agree on that.
So
Okay,
you
one.
saying we should make mental health a bigger topic in our conversation with everybody we deal with?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, some people gonna be opposed. Not just to be honest, that's how some people are. But don't be afraid to talk about, because then you'll be the person. Like, I wish I would have said X, Y, Z about it.
Right, right. And if we talk about it more, then they won't be so hesitant to come out and say,
Mm-hmm.
I'm feeling depressed, or, you may not want to term it as depression, you know what I'm saying? But, I'm just feeling kind of off, you know what I'm saying? I don't know what's going on with me, so just, keep me in your thoughts and prayers, or, whatever your lingo is. So I definitely agree that if we put it in the conversations more, people won't feel the stigma about going through something.
Yeah, I'm liking this being more aware thing because a lot of times we do look past the signs, and the signs are always we often say, "Oh, that boy crazy,"
Right. And we
Mm-hmm.
need to stop saying that now.
yeah,
Yeah.
and so that's a term that we need to stop saying.
Right, and that's because
Yeah.
that's one reason why people don't want to go to therapy, because they're saying, "Well, I
Mm-hmm.
ain't crazy." Well,
Yep.
therapy ain't just for crazy people; it's for perfectly sane people. Just may just need a little clarity on something,
Mm-hmm.
But if we change the lingo on how we dealing with people who having dark moments, then they are more able to open up and say, "Okay, I'm going through something. Can you point me in the right direction?"
And one thing I want to say, with therapy, people gotta stop thinking that therapy is all about sitting on the couch.
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly. Come on, sis,
it's
because I
not all
had that
about.
on my list to ask you
It's not
about.
all about sitting on the couch. Let me tell you, I'm a community-based therapist. And we go places. People
Mhm.
don't know none of them therapists when they see me out in the public because
Mhm.
I blend in.
Mm.
Therapy can be me somebody's doctor appointment for the support. Therapy can be, okay, let's go to a cooking class because that's therapy too. It's therapeutic for your client, right?
Mm.
Right.
Therapy does not have to be on the couch.
I
So
love
it's
that you
being on the
brought that
couch is
up.
that's a negative conversation of a therapist.
Most people think
Yeah.
they gotta go in the office and talk. Right now, since COVID is going on, we do telehealth. People don't even have to come out in the office no more. There's telehealth now.
Okay, so let's since you brought that up. I've been getting a lot of negative
Mm-hmm.
feedback about telehealth.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like telehealth is as effective as face to face?
No, no. For some people it works. For some people it don't, because
Mhm.
that face to face interaction is different, than opposed to being video. Now, for some people it's okay because they already have that closeness with their therapist. Like if you just starting out, I don't know if it's gonna be beneficial. Like if you just starting therapy, but for someone
Yeah.
who already had rapport with their therapist, and it's different.
Mhm.
We have to do telehealth sessions for a while, like three times a week, and I say you have to be very clever to keep people engaged. You
Yes.
gotta come outside the box and not just talk. Because I had to come up with different games, different activities, to make sure they stay engaged through telehealth.
Right, right, right. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad. I really want to talk about that. Okay, so I don't know if you mentioned this, but I want to get your opinion. So, do you think the signs of depression or suicidation look different between males and females?
Mm.
Because
Ooh.
men not so chatty. Some men are. You know what I'm saying. But how would you really gauge a man's behavior if he could be depressed or suicidal?
Men
That's
get
good.
emotional. Like men show signs too. Like when they money ain't right, you can tell when they money when they money
Yeah.
good money. You can tell that they don't want to be bothered with. Something ain't right. I mean, you can
Yeah.
Mhm.
just see it there. You just gotta know that. You just gotta know what type of guy that person is.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. I agree. I just think I know the money thing, you know what I'm saying? But men, you gotta really be paying attention to the man or
Yes,
know them
yes,
to kind of see, how their behavior is changing.
yes.
Because the man gotta be the strong one. No
Mm-hmm.
ma'am. The man gotta be the strong one. He gotta hold on. He can't we don't often allow a man's space to be weak.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
And so we
But
it
men don't also want to be vulnerable either. They don't want to have that vulnerability. Like women don't mind being vulnerable. They don't mind expressing how they feel. Men don't like to do that.
But I do think it. If you know that guy, or you know what I'm saying, we talk about family. We talk about people we know.
Mm-hmm.
We should be able to tell the signs
Mm-hmm.
if they're going through something, right?
Yep. I definitely could tell the signs when my brother, when his money, when he was sad. I ain't gonna say about his money, but when he was sad, his whole demeanor was different.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like uplifting, up going, he just wasn't the same like he was before.
Yeah, I mean, so when people self medicate, like because that's another thing that we in our community we've been dealing with depression and oppression and all these different things so long that we tend to think that it's maybe is our normal or the norm for us, and we self medicate. So what do you think about us? How do we step in and say, look, bro, let's just talk about it. We may not have to do this time. Like, where you at with that? How we deal with that?
It's you got to be I'm gonna say you're gonna have to be consistent with that.
Mm-hmm.
Self-medicate is easy, but it's always some long-term effects. Doing
Hmm.
things natural is harder, but it's easier in the long run. You just gotta keep doing it over and over and over again. I think one of the hardest things people have a hard time with is mindfulness. Just sitting
Oh
and
my God,
stopping,
yes.
stopping and being in the present moment. That's the hardest thing for most people to do. But it's
Yes.
the freest thing too. If you think about it, you ain't gotta go spend no money. Um, you right there. You got nature. You got outside. You just got all these beautiful surroundings that really can help you to heal. And a lot of times they gotta get rid of the negative. A
Mm.
lot of people
Mm,
need to let things go.
that's for
Mhm.
sure. So, some of the natural ways you would say, like meditating,
Yeah,
praying. Mm-hmm.
meditate. Walking for a little while. Journaling. Stuff people don't really like to don't want to do basically because they
Mm-hmm.
think it's so cliche. Uh, and the reason why it's good to do is because it's self awareness. It's giving you the opportunity to be self aware of what is the real actual issue. Let's kind of come back and evaluate ourselves too, because sometimes it ain't always people. It could be us.
Yeah,
Mm.
a lot of times it's us. But
Yeah.
we blame it on people, but you're right. A lot of times it is us. And I think a main reason why people don't like to do the natural stuff is because they equate that with negativity. Or you're a journalist or you meditating on it. Why you just pray. I just think our entire conversations around mental illness and depression, things like that, need to change because a lot of reason why people won't attempt to try things is because it's so negative. We talk about it so negative. They on medication. They ain't going to therapy. They doing this. They're doing that. Well, we need to praise people for doing whatever it
Hmm.
takes to be,
That's true.
as best as possible for themselves.
And it is your circle too has a big effect on it too. If your circle not on mental health, your circle like this is how we supposed to deal with our issues, then that's the issue too.
Yeah.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
I'm just being honest. I can't go into the club. It's cool. If you want to go to the club, have that moment, but it's the moment. Like what you gonna do after that moment is over.
Right.
Mm.
Right. Now you talking, sis. Cause
Yeah.
that's that's one of the main problems is you're hanging around the wrong people, and
Mhm.
that can make you depressed in itself because
Yep.
if every time you talk to someone, I mean, some people are experiencing depression,
Mhm.
but I would like to say that you are probably not depressed every day, all day, every time I talk to you.
Mm.
You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So do you? You're never gonna not be depressed.
And
You're never
some
gonna
people
do
do.
anything to change the narrative.
I call
You,
it laziness, no lack of motivation, because you do have lazy people, and they use the term depression for some attention sometimes, and you got to
Mm.
be able to know the distinct of if they are attention seeking or if it's really really real. And the only
yes,
way you really can know that if you watch people patterns, like okay, they got XYZ tool to do this, but they still not using XYZ tool to do it. So
yes,
what is it? And then sometimes now, not gonna get me wrong, some people just don't have the motivation to do certain things. Like they're so depressed, they
Mm.
don't
mm-hmm.
even have the pick me up to do it. Now, but you gotta know the people though. You just gotta know the people.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Because we all know some of them people that
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So, is there any class that we normal individual can take to try to help so they can be more supportive to a person going through depression? or is there any tele what conference, whatever you guys call it, that a person can take so they can learn how to deal with depression?
Um, One thing I would say, it's a lot of tools out here, a lot of, things you could get off just off therapistaid.com. Like, it's an actual therapist website where therapists pull different information for their clients and stuff, just a lot of worksheets and stuff. But if your friend or whoever is in therapy, you could really go to therapy with them.
Mm-hmm.
And they can give you some psychoeducation, if that makes sense.
Okay, hold
Okay.
Um,
on. Hold on, Paul. You said therapyaid.com?
Therapist, Therapist Aid, TherapistAid. It's a real website, and they kind of talk about every type of topic. You can print out worksheets. The worksheets are free. But yeah, a lot of therapists use this tool in a session.
Okay, that's awesome. So
Hmm.
that's a free resource.
Yeah, free resource. Like I said, going to some of them therapy sessions,
Mm-hmm.
and it's so much, it's so many like books and things out there to educate yourself on, and going to some like therapy workshops that they have available sometimes. The department, like the DHS, they have
Mm-hmm.
little trinkets inside they brochures up inside the offices and stuff you can just grab and pick up. So the resources are out there. Is the spreading the word about it needs to be more.
And that's what I think. Like, I feel like a lot of people don't know about the resources that's available,
Hmm.
and it seems like no resources are available.
Yeah.
Honestly, just to the average old Joe, if you're not in the mental health field. So, I'm glad he asked that question to get that. So at least we have somewhere to start. And I think for a lot of people, offering to go to therapy with them could be the start. You
Hmm.
know, because one, they already have a negative stigma towards being in therapy, but they may not know where to start. Some people, it's not that they don't want to do it, they don't know how to contact a therapy. If their insurance is
Hmm.
accepted. If they don't have insurance, could I still get therapy?
So something to piggyback off of that, I have my own therapist, and when I started looking for a therapist, I was looking for certain characteristics of a therapist.
Oh,
I
that's
was
a good
looking,
question.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking for an African American woman. I'm looking for a plus size woman like me. I was
Mm-hmm.
looking for someone that was a little older than me, but still was optimistic, so I could feel comfortable talking to her about things. And I also, we had this program in my job. I don't know if everybody else has it, but it's called EAP, Employee Assistance Program,
Mm-hmm.
and they give you three free sessions for therapy. So
Mm-hmm.
they have a network of therapists. Instagram, I type in therapy. They have all these different types of therapists on
What?
Instagram. Yes, I can't think about who pays it. When I figured out, I'll let y'all know. But one therapist page, she has like a directory of therapists for each state.
Okay,
Mm.
girl. That's not
Yeah, so
that's
you,
awesome because you on Instagram 24/7.
yes, so you
So,
just
so
type in
tell me
therapy.
this, not to cut you off,
Uh
but
huh.
so you said you look for this person who kind of fix your bill or person.
Mhm.
So you if going into therapy, you do you try to put yourself in the most positive situation, or should you put yourself in the most uncomfortable situation so you can come out
Hmm.
of what you're in?
Everybody different. For me, I already knew I needed it. I was self aware that I wanted to help. You need to know if you really want to do it. This that's
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
that's one thing. And I knew that things would bother me and why they was bothering me. Like, I already knew what my situations were.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's different. Every therapist is different. So I can't say what how your therapist is gonna be, what you want to come in to talk about. But when I found my therapist, I knew I was comfortable because the first time I went in there, I was already crying. Like, the comfort level was there. It was there. It was there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it was because I was ready, or it was the aroma, it was the peacefulness that it gave me when I went in the first time. Okay, everybody different, but I mean, I've been with my therapist for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
2 years.
So how has that transformed your thought process or your actions to life?
My relationship with people are better. the childhood trauma that I was holding on with my dad, things ain't where they need to be, but there's a lot of progress that has been made.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like addressing the childhood trauma also kind of address my adulthood. It's why I do the certain things I do, or why I make the certain decisions.
Yeah.
All of that ties into my thought process. Like, okay, yeah, I'm out here doing therapy with people, providing them help, but I need my own help too.
That's
I need
Absolutely.
to give it
but
to
it's dope.
myself, huh?
But it's dope that you recognize that because so many times us as people, we can give so much, but we often don't look back into ourselves and pour back into us, so
Mm-hmm.
we can still be able to give to other people or be whole as a person. Another thing I want to ask is what do you recommend like as far as starting with children at a lower age, so try to
Mm.
make them be as whole as possible to when they become adults. So, like, what would you say?
For my kid, I just use my own kid. I talk to him about real stuff now. I know he might be a little scared, but I just rather go ahead and give it to him now, in
Mm-hmm.
the terms that he understands. Um, Everybody ain't gonna do that though. I try to tell him the why behind things, like why he needs to know. A lot of time my parents were saying, "Oh, you need to do X, Y, Z," but we ain't know why we need to do it till later on in life, right?
Yeah, that's something we talk about often on our show. Um, let your children have a voice.
Mm-hmm.
So you think that this can potentially help them with their mental health by allowing them to have a certain voice as youth in your household?
Yeah, I mean, there's boundaries, of course.
Mm-hmm.
They need to know the expectations and what the boundaries could. But me and my kid, we have open relationships about me, open conversations about stuff. I rather for me to be able to know the things to catch it, than for him to be talking to everybody else and then I miss something. I ain't
Mm-hmm.
Right.
perfect. I'm not gonna know everything, but I'm pretty sure I know when things are off. I know.
But the
And
fact
then
that you're
so
trying to be more hands on,
yeah.
you're trying to be in tune and try to catch as much as
Mhm.
you can. Because we all know how to hide things from our parents, because we did it.
We
But
did,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
right, but the fact that you are more alert and he know that you're on top of things, he's more likely to open up and say, "Mom, this is what's going on," or whatever the case may be.
But let's for just for a second, a lot of people think that when you give your kids a voice that you're letting them run the household.
Yes, come on, sister.
You gotta put stipulations on it. I'm not saying, oh, they need to run, they cuss you out of that. No.
Right.
This way,
Man, that's a horse of a different color.
yeah, this way to communicate. And like I
Yeah.
said, people don't know how to communicate.
Right, but that's something in the black community
Yeah.
that kids, I'm the adult and you have to listen. But like you just said, we talk about that all the time. They are little adults. They're little human beings
Yeah.
that got a voice. So yes, that don't mean they running our house, but we gonna have the conversation first, and then okay, if the conversation don't get that, then we got to go to the more upper level, disciplinary actions or whatever the case may be. But I think that's where a lot of trauma comes in because the person don't have a voice by the time they're adult because they was never allowed to express their feelings or they were never allowed to say, "Mom, why is this going on?" or "Why do I have to do this?" Because who you asking why? You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? We so aggressive and so ready to snap
We missed
instead of
opportunity.
saying, yeah,
Yep.
you missed the opportunity to give the child a chance to say, okay, well, you're going to get a whooping. Because you can't, me every day, you can't get out your seatbelt while we're driving. Because it's for safety measures. But I could just go and whoop her and say, I told her put the seatbelt on and not
Yeah.
explain. But she needs to know the purpose of the seatbelt. You know?
We missed the
Yeah.
opportunity to teach. That's what we did.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. Let's look at this right here.
Hmm.
What y'all think about this? A lot of times, in our you get a talking to while you getting the whoop. Well, right, right, or wrong. That's
Right.
true. So
Right.
Yeah.
what y'all think about having a conversation before the whooping and still whoop them?
Mhm. Let me tell you this: in these new ages, you whoop your kid and your kid hit the CPS, you gonna have VHS in your home. I'm gonna just be honest.
Mm.
Um, So like corporal punishment ain't really top now. Now there's an underline with that because you can whoop a kid and they not having bruises, okay, but you to bruise your kid, you whoop them. Best believe somebody gonna come for you.
Yeah, and I think that's extreme anyway. I don't think it takes
Yeah.
that much. But I mean, for us, for what I'm trying to, I don't know. I'm just 3 years in, so I don't know y'all. But what I do have a conversation first, and and
Hmm.
say this is why you shouldn't do this X, Y, and Z. You know what I'm saying? But now mom got to whoop you. You know what I'm saying? So
Hmm.
I don't know if that's gonna be affected throughout her upbringing, but right now is what I'm putting into practice so that she has an understanding. Because I don't want to whoop. Because I don't think whooping is the answer to everything. But we are conditioned to spank our kids. Like we got spanked. What's wrong with them getting spanked?
Yeah, but
But I
it gotta
feel
be
like
some form of punishment.
Yeah, it,
yeah,
it is true. There needs to be some form of punishment.
yeah. But
Yeah.
I think we always talk down on timeout. Oh, black folks don't do timeout. I'm an advocate of timeout. So. But I definitely think the conversation needs to come first. Now, sometimes you gonna talk and you gonna whoop. I'm sorry. You can say whatever you want to say. You're gonna say you're gonna be getting the licks, you're gonna be getting the words. But I think for the most part, you need to have a system on how you deal with discipline because that's when it can get carried away.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I definitely agree with that because sometimes I ain't gonna lie. Sometimes I still be talking. Sometimes I realize that I pop my kid because because I'm tired of repeating myself at this point. Like I know I said X, Y, Z this way, I did this way, and at the end
Right.
of the day, it's like okay, and he looking at me like I can't believe she hit me. Like I can't believe his feelings hurt. His feelings really, really hurt.
Right.
Yeah, see,
Sometimes it's the last resort.
and but this is now you got to do something because if you get to a certain age, now you can't do anything. You
Right.
understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
they're so used to you just saying, "I'm gonna get you," or "I'm gonna do
Hmm.
this," and "I'm gonna do that." So when you try to do it, it ain't gonna work. They're gonna fight against it.
That's
So
right.
you have to be
That's
aware
right.
of those things as well.
Right. Miss Andrea, she said, I'm a timeout and grounded baby, and I turned out all right. I'm saying, like, I mean, you gotta do what work for you in your household, but
Yep.
they still didn't get that discipline because these children they gonna try you now. So we not by no means saying that we protect the mental health, so we not discipline the kids. We're not saying that, but we're saying there are different ways that you can
Yeah,
discipline your child
yeah, because
nowadays.
I don't think this is a one size fits all type of situation.
Nah.
Exactly.
You gotta know your kid,
Yeah,
Nah.
Yeah, exactly.
and
Exactly.
then like you said, you gotta know your kid. You gotta know if you got a child that gonna go tell this teacher this and that, or that you got this bruise. To come on now, let's be real about it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
You
Because,
gotta know that too now.
right. Because if I could have a transparent moment, as a kid, my mom, I know she didn't try to do it right, but she was doing her little whooping because, like we just said, mama be whooping you and talking and doing all her thing. And some kind of way, the belt buckle hit me in the eye, right? But she wasn't whooping me in a way to beat me to make a bruise. So
Hmm.
I could have been that kid to be like, oh my God, this is what my mom did to me, you know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
And then they coming out. They coming out.
Right,
They
they
coming
right.
out, child.
yeah,
So,
it's a
yeah,
no
so
doubter now.
right. So I also think that effective communication and be like, okay, baby, mama was trying to discipline you.
Man, do you know
but
how many kids that be calling CPS on their parents just to be spiteful?
right,
They be
exactly.
coming. They just gotta come out. They got to.
See, but I think with that too, also, let's be real. That's a parent who is not communicating with their child as much,
Mm,
and they trying to do this on a ladder end when you got to start in the beginning.
Right,
It cannot
yeah.
right.
start at 10 years old. It cannot start at 11, 12, 13 years old. You got to start that now, 3, 4 years old, where you talking to them, y'all having a conversation now. Not
Hmm.
only is that gonna help them with all the other stuff, it's gonna help them be able to communicate with other people and even you to tell you what they feeling.
Right. I definitely agree. Okay, I got another question, but if anybody that's tuned in right now, if you all have any question for us or Miss Chelsea, please drop them in the comments before we get ready to wrap up for tonight. Something I want to circle back to, you were saying that when you decided to look for a therapist, you wanted a woman who kind of look like you, somebody you could
Like,
resonate with.
hmm
Do you feel like doing that will help more people be lean towards going to therapy more?
yeah, I definitely would. Because everybody wants somebody relatable. You want somebody you can feel comfortable with.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, there was people, I was reading their bios. I was reading people's bios. I was reading, what type of stuff they like, what they, see if we
Mm-hmm.
had some type of connection or something. I didn't want to get nobody that was just like me now, because I feel like
Right.
we be friends.
Right. You don't want to
Uh,
get right.
yeah. So, but still, I feel like even with a therapist, they show support. Sometimes your therapist
Mm-hmm.
turn into a whole nother type of relationship that they dropping gems for you and vice versa.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with that, and I love that. I think I was talking to somebody else about how to determine, because they were thinking about marriage counseling or whatever,
Mm,
and they was like, well, they don't want to necessarily get a black woman because then the man would feel like the two women are ganging up on him, and then but then a black man, how will he really relate? You know,
mhm.
and so I think that's definitely interesting when trying to determine what type of therapist would be best. And it's strange that we go off of characteristics and everything like that, but when I guess.
Mhm.
So, would you recommend that everybody have a therapist?
Definitely would. I know that's cliche for some people, but definitely would. Um, everybody, because everybody goes through something. Everybody.
Yeah.
Um, and also not just that, but it's giving yourself a outlet, like a private outlet that you don't really have to share with your friends.
Hmm.
You don't think it's
So
like a
what?
safe haven.
Yeah. So what would you say for people who feel like their friends are their therapists, or like their wife
I
is their
said,
therapist?
I tell my friends in a minute go get them a therapist. Because it's
Right.
biased. It's biased because you feel like you
Mm-hmm.
know your friends. I mean, and I'm gonna say that therapy don't work for everybody. Everybody ain't. But I want to also say that therapy is not just talking to people. Therapy is like maybe shopping, fashion, or if you got a favorite hobby, that's therapy too. That's giving like,
Mm-hmm.
look, people come in there just for cooking it because it's a safe place.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
And I love that. Yeah, it's different aspects of it. It's not just it's not a one
Mm-hmm.
thing, one and done. I love that. Okay, Miss Andrea have a question. She says, "How should we go about disciplining other people's children? Because obviously, I'm gonna be the rich auntie. I don't know, because I think we need to bring the village back. You know
Yes,
what I'm
I was
saying?
gonna say that. I be need the village. I be need the village come help me out.
Yeah. I think now, I don't think you just need to open the door and
Yeah.
start. You need to know what type of discipline the parent offers,
Mm-hmm.
and
Hmm.
something you can probably add to it or counteract it. Don't just. I have a problem with people that just want to whoop other people's kids.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I think you need to know that discipline has different levels.
But it's so hard now because people get upset about people saying something to their kids.
Yes.
Yeah, but if the village come back and we got to understand, and I'm saying, well, you get ready to go over Chelsea's house, and if Chelsea tell you to sit down or whatever the case, you need to listen to her. You know what I'm saying? Like, if the parent, if everybody's on board, because like at the village, you knew if you acted up, Miss Susan next door was gonna whoop you, or
Yeah.
she gonna do something. So if we have the village, then it's an understanding amongst everybody what the limits are. Would y'all think?
Well,
Yeah.
I think like this. Um, it's easy to discipline somebody else's child when their parent are disciplinary.
Mm.
Yeah.
It's harder when their parents are not. Because if they don't listen to their parents, they darn sure they would listen to you.
True.
Now you got some people that they discipline their kids. The kids don't listen to them at all. When they go to somebody else's house, you don't even know who kid it is because they got plenty of sense. They know
Yeah,
who to
that
do good
too.
with.
Yeah?
Now you got a good point on there. Yeah.
Got
Ah,
another one.
okay, let's see. How would you go about convincing a friend to seek therapy? That's a great question.
It's a good one. It's a good one. Um, for me, I just automatically tell my friends, I think therapy is beneficial. Just try it out. If you don't like it, then you don't have to do it. I'm just the advocate for mental health anyway. If you my friend anyway,
Right, me too.
we
I
have
tell
mental health
anybody.
conversations. We with what we gonna talk about every day. We gonna talk about how you feeling, how you doing. And then
Right.
I think, friend, maybe you should just see somebody, talk to somebody. But that's just me. I can't speak for y'all. Like y'all might have a different way to go about it.
Okay, we're calling in a minute. I mean, I second that. I'll talk to her in a minute. I second that. I'll go so far as to say, okay, these are some people in your area. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you can start with this list. Following up on them after you talk to them about it, because sometimes you talk to your friend and they're like, okay, girl, I'm going to do it. And then 2 months later, they back in another situation. And did you do that? Oh, I forgot. You know what I'm saying? So I think having follow through with it. And then, like you said earlier, offering to go with them, for the first session.
Oh, and then like I would say this: if you're an advocate of therapy, maybe and you can tell them where I go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I tell my friends I go, and I tell them how I talk to my therapist today, child. I feel good. I tell them the heartbeat. I like my therapist. I feel good when I talk to her. Sometimes, even though I probably already talked to my friends about it, it's something different than when you talk to somebody else that ain't your friend. I don't know
Yes.
what it is. I can't, it's almost like it's a click, like a light bulb come on. Like, yeah, that makes sense. But because one, they don't know you.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
They don't know
Right.
you.
Mm-hmm. And you're right. And your friend, you feel like they're saying what they think is best,
Mm-hmm.
based on y'all relationship. What a therapist is giving you what's best based on you being whole or whatever the need is in that moment. So it is gonna always be kind of biased when somebody is your friend and they know the backstory to whatever may have
Yeah.
caused this issue. You know. You got anything else, co-host? So I go to the next question on that one.
No, I like that. I'm in on that.
Okay. Okay. Someone says, "What about people who discipline your children but not theirs? They
Mm.
need therapy."
Well, I don't think that could be part of the village because, like,
Yeah. Right. I
Yeah.
agree.
if it's me, I don't think that person can be part of the village for my child because obviously you're not doing something that you believe in.
Right.
Right. Yeah. I agree
And
with
it
that,
could be a
co-host.
power thing. Uh,
Yes.
I just like to have power, but not. I guess not power at their own house, but you
But there's
know,
a lot of people do stuff like that
yeah,
though.
they do. Yeah.
Well, that's why they trying to discipline your child because they don't have power at their house, so they feel like they can have a little power at your house because of whatever role they are, their grandparent or their auntie, or you know what I'm saying. Like I'm your whatever, so you have to listen to me. But a lot of times, in my opinion, and we laughed about it, but sometimes old people need therapy because they have some kind of issue as to why they feel like they need to try to discipline someone else's child, but their child is the perfect human being and don't need the discipline. Like that doesn't make sense. So
Hmm.
that's my opinion on that.
Well, tell her how it is. Then.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I think. Well, Miss Chelsea, we don't have any more questions popping up. We thank you so much for coming on. Every time we have guests on, we let them know that the door is open. So if you want to come back on and anytime talk about something that not necessarily, with a somber thing, because the suicide just happened, but you want to come on and talk about something that you want to advertise and different things like that, which you do have some products. So I think maybe you want to plug right quick. But we want to thank you just for lending your knowledge and hopefully that was helpful to somebody because people got things going on out there. So
They
tell
do.
them a little more about you, where they can find you at, and different things like that.
You can find me on the Fashion Therapist on Instagram. I have a website also called fashiontherapist.com. I sell handbags. My handbag line is emotional baggage because I'm a therapist and I love bags and I feel like we got plenty of emotions. I do sell journals. I have my own journal that I created called Emotional Baggage. It's a TFCBT based trauma, help you to get over your traumas, help you to heal, and we do celebratory in your journal. I also teach you how to style your handbag in your journal. Um,
Okay.
Teach
so
you how to
that's
do
what I'm
what?
doing. I teach you how to style your handbag. Yeah,
Style my
so
handbag.
how to style, like what type of handbag to wear,
Okay,
what
okay,
type of
okay. Yeah,
event,
I'm just.
where to wear, where to the park, where out with your friends. I just give a little tips on that. But that's part of your celebration. Once you write it out, feel like write yourself a letter, however you want to do it, and then there's a celebration part of for healing. Um,
Okay.
One thing I want to tell y'all before we leave, but I want to give y'all the definition between self harm and suicide. I
Okay.
think everybody needs to
Yes.
know
The what
Yes.
now?
self harm and suicide, because I think
Okay,
a lot of
okay.
people get those mixed up. Suicide is when they deliberately want to kill themselves. Self harm is only when they want to harm themselves, hurt themselves to release the emotional pressure. Okay, so there's definitely a difference. They're not trying to kill themselves for self harm. It's just like people that going to get tattoos. They like to go get tattoos for the pain, but to release, the emotional pressure. So
Mm,
definitely know the difference.
mm. So,
Watch the
so,
court.
so, check this. If a person is self harming themselves, is it more likely that they will or can commit suicide?
I want to talk to my
They can,
nanny.
Okay. Wait till we're done.
but they haven't deliberately said they really don't want to die though. They just want to get rid of the pain.
So, how do you deal with that person?
Helping them find different other kind of coping mechanisms that
Mechanism.
can substitute the self harm, like put rubber bands on your hand, on your wrist, and pop your wrist with the rubber band. It's less harmful than you taking a fork or something
And
and
poking yourself.
yeah, poking. I tell people to write on their hand, get them a marker, right on they, right on their cells if that's what they want to do.
So
There.
all these different things are helpful ways of doing stuff. Huh?
Yeah.
I never thought of it like that.
Yeah, that is really good. And also because knowing the difference and also knowing that self harm could escalate into
Mm-hmm.
suicide. So yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because we didn't even think about that. And also I want to note that suicide is coming up with they having a new number like the 1-800 number. Um Let me see. I got the 1-800 number up here, which is 1-800-273-8255, the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. But also, they are creating a number starting in July. It's going to be 988 instead of 911.
Mm-hmm.
And that's directly for if you suspect someone is contemplating suicide. So we're going to continue to bring that up until July and then thereafter, just so people will know that resource is available as well. And so, was there anything else, Miss Chelsea?
No, that's it. I enjoyed you guys.
Well, thank you, girl, and make sure that you put your the link in the comments. So if anybody want to go and get one of your journals or one of your handbags, that information will be available to them.
They also can find a journal on Amazon.com as well.
Okay, y'all better go on Amazon and shop, sis. Okay, co-host, come on and take us out.
All right, let us bow in prayer. Oh, gracious and heaven, eternal Father, here we are once again. Lord, before we ask for anything, we'd like to say thank you. Father God, we thank you for being you, God, and you all by yourself, Father God. Father God, we thank you for another amazing podcast, Father God. We thank you for our co-host on the night, Father God, Miss Chelsea Bullock, and she brought a lot of great information, Father God, that can help us on this mental health journey that we've been talking about for week in and week out. Father God, just let us take this information and be able to use it, Father God, with our friends, with our family, with our loved ones, Father God, everyone, Father God. Let us, we pray that we can be able to see the signs of depression, Father God, and also be able to talk to these individuals, maybe talk them out of suicide or being able to prevent any of these things from happening, Father God. We just pray for our black community that we can see the importance of a therapist, Father God, and have therapeutic conversations, therapeutic shopping, all these different examples of things that we learned on tonight, Father God. Hopefully that our community can get up to speed with it and, Father God, not be ashamed and learn how to communicate their downfalls or whatever they may be going through, Father God. Father God, we just thank you for a panel like this, Father God, and pray that we continue to have panels like this that could continue to educate us in this life, Father God, the way it would just be second nature and it won't just to be out of abnormal situation, Father God. We just thank you for my
Mm-hmm.
co-host for always, Father God, keeping us up on this mental health thing, Father God. Just thank you for everybody who tuned in, and Father God, and hoping that something was said or done that can help somebody in their mental health journey, Father God. Father God, as we get ready to leave tonight, Father God, we just thank you for everything you have done and everything you're getting ready to do, Father God. We hope that you got the glory out of this, Father God. And Father God, we ask you forgive us for all of our sins. These blessings we ask in your son, Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Man,
Awesome prayers
man.
always. All right, you guys. This has been your episode of What's Coming Out of Your Mouth. Good night.
Deuces.